Alright guys, welcome on back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I kind of wanted to have a discussion about the tomb. As we get further and further along, I've been having some thoughts about the map, and some people have been kind of speaking what I've been thinking out into existence, and that is that I don't think the tomb was ever supposed to exist as a zombies map, at least not in the current way that we have it right now. Now this one's a little bit different from our typical videos here on the channel. This idea really has been rolling around in my head over the last couple of days, so I figured I'd come out here and chop it up with you guys, as this just seems to make more and more sense to me as we go along. With all that out of the way, if you guys are into zombies content, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys are looking to unlock any of those mastery camos here in Black Ops 6 and you just don't have the time to grind these things out, and I'm talking about Abyss, Nebula, and Dark Matter, then be sure to check out Mitch Cactus. They offer the most reliable services in Call of Duty, including bot lobbies, camo unlocks, or pre-made accounts. So if you are someone that just doesn't have time to game all day and you want to unlock these things, then be sure to check out Mitch Cactus. For a little bit of security, they got thousands of great reviews on Trustpilot, so be sure to head on over to the site and check out any of the deals that they got going on, and be sure to use code RealG for a limited time only. Before we go ahead and fully dive into the video, I do want to say I do really like the tomb. I think it's a great addition to Black Ops 6. I'm not the biggest fan of the main quest or the boss fight, but I do think the map itself is actually a good map. I think it's not only going to be a great map for the casuals, but if you just want to jump in, slay out some zombies, grind out some XP, gobblegums, or camos, things like that, I think the map is excellent for those specific purposes. As I was playing the map more and more, I couldn't really help myself but think, I kind of feel like I've played here before. Like I've played on this map before, or it could have been like an extension of a map that I've already been playing on. And it really started to slowly kind of click in for me. This map feels like Citadel. This isn't even from a lore perspective or actually thinking about the story or the characters. This is just coming from walking around and looking at my environment and just kind of taking it all in. Everything just seemed extremely familiar. One of the things that kind of sticks out to me about the Black Ops 6 Zombies maps is that so far up until the tomb, each one of the maps really has their own kind of color palette and feel to them. Terminus is a bit more dim and dark and kind of has a grayish blue hue going for it, kind of like it's being moonlit. Liberty Falls is actually the complete opposite. It's a little bit more bright, it's sunny, the map is a little bit more clear. Then we have Citadel, where the sun is setting and then it's a little bit more dimmer, and the color palette for Citadel is a little bit more of a brownish tannish color. And then here comes along the tomb, where it's the very first map that we see where the color palette is actually extremely similar to the map that we just saw. Lighting in the color palette in the spawn room is almost one-to-one to Citadel. Maybe they made it just slightly brighter. Overall, it really looks like it could have been a part of the same map. While I do think that Citadel is a decent sized map, I've always been a little bit underwhelmed by the size that it actually is. Remember, from the trailers and everything that they were showing in the teasers, it just really seemed like Citadel was going to be a really big map, kind of similar to Terminus. I think somewhere along the way they said, you know what, we could actually split this up into two separate maps. That way they don't have to drop absolutely everything at once, and they can actually drip feed us a little bit more content throughout the seasons. Black Ops 6 launch, the initial rumors was that we were going to end up seeing 6 zombies maps, being able to see a zombie map with every season. Now apparently things have changed a little bit, and according to the Ghost of Hope, we still have 3 new zombie maps coming before the end of the year. If you guys don't know who the Ghost of Hope is, he's an incredible leaker in the Call of Duty community, and like 98% of what this guy says comes true. If that is the case, that means that Black Ops 6 is going to be seeing a total of 8 zombie maps, with one season during the year not having a zombies map because of the release of Verdansk. In Season 3, I really wouldn't be expecting a new map for zombies, just because Activision, everybody at Call of Duty, is going to want everybody on Verdansk. Now it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me why Citadel was pushed up and released as soon as it was. It's also starting to make a little bit more sense to me why they would take such a big map like Citadel and split it up into 2 separate experiences, so that way they could drop something at Season 1 Reloaded and then give us something at Season 2. From their perspective, they're probably thinking, okay, as long as we give the zombies community enough stuff to hold them over, they probably won't complain too much throughout Season 3 not getting a new map. Because not only have we so far seen a release of a new zombies map with every season, but we also seen one at the Reloaded update without any of this content getting confirmed release dates from Activision. It just really makes sense to me that this is how they're going to do things. You can see the planned release dates for the rest of the zombies content going forward being the launch of Season 4, 5, and 6. Now, if Verdansk doesn't go the exact way that I think Call of Duty wants it to, and if the player numbers aren't exactly there, I think they may just have an ace up their sleeve and they may drop another zombies map at Season 3 Reloaded. And again, this would be another really good opportunity to use one of their smaller zombie maps that they've been working on to put in this place. Now, it is kind of crazy to think about, but think about this for a second. What if the zombies maps that we were supposed to be getting were actually all very similar to the size of Terminus in scale? Somewhere along the line of development, they went, okay, we could either release 4 zombie maps throughout the seasons, or we could split these up a little bit and we can actually release 8. That way there's absolutely no downtime for the zombies community throughout the year, besides the little bit of time that they're going to be trying to shoehorn all of the players players into Warzone. And as much as I love zombies, guys, it is the main reason I started YouTube, or even my love for Call of Duty. I'm definitely a sucker for Verdansk as well, and I'm really hoping that Activision, Call of Duty, Raven, whoever's got their hands in this, I really hope that they get it right, because I think Verdansk is kind of one of the last hopes for Warzone. Personally, I think if they don't get Verdansk right, I think that is really the last straw for Warzone. I honestly think it's pretty much done after that. The player base doesn't come back with Verdansk, it's time to go back to the drawing board and maybe come up with something else. I was watching the Going Dark podcast the other day, shout out to Chopper, and he had on Stanley557, and Stanley actually said one of the things I've been thinking the entire time, and that is that the tomb probably could have been a part of Citadel. So I'm not the biggest zombies lore person. I kind of think my brain actually lacks the brain power to make the story actually sound coherent. Get 2 or 3 minutes into explaining what I think is going on, and then I'd end up just confusing myself. If we go over to Twitter really quick, Zone X says, question for the lore people, did the Sentinel artifact really need to be at the tomb, or could have we not gotten it from Citadel? I ask because I'm wondering if there's a world where they didn't make the tomb at all. Extend Citadel to continue the egg after the Guardian fight to get the Sentinel artifact, making Citadel even better, and then use the rest of the dev time to make Mansion bigger. Obviously, we know nothing about the Mansion yet, and I could be jumping the gun, but I think it's hard to see the point I'm making here. I think he meant to say, obviously, we know nothing about the Mansion yet, I could be jumping the gun, but I think it's hard not to see the point I'm making here. And honestly, yeah, I don't think he's wrong on this at all. I think this is actually almost exactly what happened. I have no confirmation on this whatsoever. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but from everything that I've been seeing, really does feel like the tomb could have either been a part of Citadel, or they wanted to make it a part of Citadel. Maybe there was half of the dev team that had different ideas that they wanted to do for the map, and instead of just cramming all of those ideas into one, they were able to split it up a little bit so that way the maps were somewhat similar, but yet their ideas didn't clash. It really could just come down to being an overall design choice. It also have something to do with their budget and trying to get out as much content as possible. Stanley goes on to say, not really, it doesn't help that the whole reason we went to Citadel was to get the amulet so we could access the Dark Ether Nexus, but like, how did Archibald and his team enter the Dark Ether without the amulet? 100% could have just slammed the two maps together. And Zonex says, how did Archibald and his team enter the Dark Ether in quotations? Does the map really not answer this? Stanley says, not as far as I'm aware with the intel, it just seems like they accessed it, which makes no sense that the amulet was the entire purpose in Citadel. Big oof. Then it's Perka comes in to say, if Treyarch wasn't focusing on quantity for BO6, Citadel would have had everything it currently has plus what the tomb has. The whole amulet thing was definitely shoehorned in just to give a reason to prolong the Sentinel artifact quest and have another map right away. Yeah, I agree, imagine how much of a banger Citadel would have been with those combined. I agree, 1000% absolutely, and even as it stands right now, Citadel is like almost my favorite map in the game so far. Terminus might ever so slightly edge it out just because I really do like the overall theme and aesthetic of the map a little bit more than Citadel. When it comes to the quest line and just getting the swords and doing the boss fight and everything, I think Citadel is just top notch. And if it was actually combined with the tomb and it had everything that both maps had to offer in one, I would say hands down Citadel would be the best map in the game. I guess my question to you guys would be, would you prefer a bigger, more fleshed out map with a lot more side quests, a lot more Easter eggs, just an overall bigger, more fleshed out experience? Would you rather have that and have a dry season here or there, or would you rather have them split it up a little bit and give us some sort of zombie content at the launch, or at least with every season? Really curious to see everybody's thoughts on this one. I think for me personally, I don't mind the smaller experiences, and I'm definitely really glad that we're at least getting some sort of content with every season. Me personally, I wouldn't mind another dry season if it meant that we were actually getting more zombies content that was just a little bit more fleshed out. To top it all off, I also don't think I would mind these smaller zombies experiences so much if they didn't feel like they were direct cutoffs of something else that we already have in the game or something that we're going to get. As much as I like the tomb, I think one of the things that has slightly turned me off from it is how similar that I think it is to Citadel. I think I would really enjoy these smaller map experiences if they really kind of felt like their own thing, rather than just splitting one really good thing in half just so they could have a little bit more quantity. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys are thinking about all of this. Do you think that it's possible that the tomb and Citadel at one point in time were supposed to be one map? I think that Treyarch is actually splitting up their zombies experiences just so they can fluff out more time. Maybe, do you think this is how it was all planned from the get-go and we're just riding along? Whatever it is, let me know down in the comment section. I would love to know your guys' thoughts. With that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys made it this far in the video, I greatly do appreciate you. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if anybody is new, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one.